NASCAR eyes an international future, one that may see the France family sell part of their ownership stake. How's it going, y'all? My name is Eric. Welcome to Out of the Groove. Some comments made by NASCAR President Steve Phelps have grabbed headlines this afternoon. Thad Moffitt, grandson of the great Richard Petty, joins the show in the second half to preview the upcoming ARCA season. But first, this episode is sponsored by Oil Udder. Designed to get messy so you stay clean. Based in Michigan, the Oil Udder is easy to use. The funnel design easily directs used oil into recycling containers. It's flexible, it's durable, it comes in multiple sizes to ensure the best fit. It's super simple, but it makes a difference. Scan the QR code on the screen right now. It'll take you to Oil Udder's Amazon.com shop. Use code GROOVE24 to get 10% off your order. Scan this code right here. Or if you're watching this on your smartphone, click the link down in the description below. Shout out to Oil Udder. Big fans of the show, big racing fans. Be sure to show them some love. Thank you to Oil Udder for sponsoring Out of the Groove. All right, driver Thad Moffitt will be joining us in a few minutes, fresh off the Petty 75th celebration. He has a new venture to talk about in the ARCA Menard series. We'll also talk about the ARCA Daytona race coming up this weekend. Sure to be a wild one, some serious star power. But first, Adam Stern, Sports Business Journal, published a story featuring quotes and comments from NASCAR President Steve Phelps. Check out this headline. Phelps says that NASCAR, privately owned by the France family since 1948, could sell an equity stake of the company for the first time in its history in the coming years, and that he thinks the sport needs to pick up the pace on global expansion. Phelps mentions private equity firms and how we've seen many of these firms invest into race teams in recent years. I mean, go all the way back to the Fenway Group buying into Roush, but more recently, Gainbridge and their reported relationship with Spire, the Harris Blitzer Entertainment Group buying into Joe Gibbs Racing, and most recently, Knighthead Capital Management buying into Legacy Motor Club. Private equity firms buying into race teams is not new, but it is becoming increasingly more common. The idea of a private equity firm buying into NASCAR itself, buying out part of the France family's ownership stake, that is new, that is radical. The timing is very interesting. Maybe it's a complete coincidence, but NASCAR and the France family are currently locked in a heated legal battle. Two race teams have filed an antitrust suit against the sanctioning body and Jim France personally. Could the France family selling off part of their ownership stake in NASCAR be part of some sort of potential settlement plan? Maybe I'm reading too much into this, but I think it's fair to throw that theory out there. As far as international expansion is concerned, I get the allure. New markets, new populations, government investment. There's a lot of money to be made international, a lot of potential depending on the region. NASCAR made a splash in Europe a couple years ago with the Garage 56 entry in the 24 Hours of Le Mans. Of course, they're headed to Mexico City with the NASCAR Cup Series for the first time ever later this season. And now there are talks of a possible exhibition race in Brazil in the coming years. I get what NASCAR is thinking, I really do. If the NFL, Major League Baseball, the NBA can play games overseas, why can't NASCAR? Formula One is massive in Europe. It's huge globally. Clearly, there is a global racing audience. Why can't NASCAR try to tap into that? The problem I see, though, is that over the past 77 years, NASCAR has been unapologetically American. Like, it has a very strong culture of its own, a loud, rough, unapologetic culture. NASCAR is having a tough time right now protecting its own turf against Formula One and the drive to survive invasion. I'm not sure it's a good idea to go overseas and take the war to their turf. I worry it's short-sighted. I'm not opposed to a race in Mexico City. I think that's great. Right here in North America, close to home, Canada absolutely deserves a NASCAR Cup Series event. Brazil, I get it, especially if it's an exhibition. Why not try it? Fans still talk about how cool those exhibition races in Japan were in the 90s. Some is okay, but we don't need to jump the shark and pretend NASCAR is something that it's not. Sure, the NFL plays some games in Europe every year. The thing is, NASCAR isn't really like the NFL. I think NASCAR is closer to the NCAA. Y'all know I love to compare NASCAR to stick and ball sports, so how's this for a comparison? NASCAR's format is similar to March Madness. A lot of teams make the playoffs, potential for big upsets, get hot at the right time, make the Final Four, you can win the championship. Cinderella story. While the culture is a lot like college football. A lot of fans in the southeastern United States specifically, especially in smaller towns and cities. It's traditional, passed down generations. It's rah-rah, hook 'em horns, roll tide, Rocky Top, raise hail, praise Dale. We've been driving Fords for generations. The top college football programs aren't typically in New York, Chicago, LA. They're in Tuscaloosa, Knoxville, Columbus, South Bend, College Station, Norman. Just like NASCAR, Darlington, South Carolina, Talladega, Alabama, North Wilkesboro. Sure, there are big market college football programs like the USC Trojans in the heart of LA or the Texas Longhorns in Austin. Just like there are big market NASCAR races like the Chicago Street Race or Las Vegas Motor Speedway. Plenty of big American cities love these sports, but both college football and NASCAR are most culturally relevant in the southeastern United States, the Midwest, smaller towns and cities. Most NASCAR fans in the Carolinas, Tennessee, Florida would not be interested in a race in Saudi Arabia, for example. And frankly, I'm not sure many fans in Atlanta, Dallas, Chicago, Charlotte would care for that either. Again, I'm not opposed to some international events. Maybe keep it mostly in the Western Hemisphere for now, for simplicity's sake. But I fear pushing too far, too fast would be a mistake. I try to be very open-minded on this show when it comes to change, because I understand that there are so many different parties responsible for making NASCAR happen. NASCAR has to listen to the TV partners. They have to listen to what the OEMs want, and the OEMs' business is constantly changing. They have to listen to their tracks, the cities they work with. Obviously, NASCAR has to listen to the fans. But unfortunately, sometimes the fans, OEMs, sponsors, their interests don't always perfectly align. That's why I try to be open-minded whenever NASCAR considers doing something radically different, something new, but I am wary when it comes to too much international expansion too quickly. NASCAR, what did I say earlier? NASCAR for decades has been unapologetically American. Great American race. It's such a part of this sport's DNA, I don't know how that translates overseas. And if you try to change the sport too much to appeal to fans overseas, you're going to lose the strong foundation you've built here in the United States. Look, the NFL, MLB, NBA, yes, they're pushing international, but NASCAR is more like college football, and college football is very much rooted right here in the United States. And they seem to have been doing pretty well the last few years. Anyway, those are just my thoughts. Let me know down in the comment section below what your reaction to that Sports Business Journal headline was. I'd like to bring in Thad Moffitt now, ARCA Menards Series driver. Let's talk about this weekend's Daytona race. Thad Moffitt joins the show. Thad, it's been a while. Hope you had a great offseason. I'm excited to see you this weekend in Daytona. The ARCA season kicks off on Big Fox Saturday at noon. I don't know about you, but I feel like there's more buzz around this ARCA race than there's been in quite some time. It's the first race of the year, big TV exposure, and then some high-profile drivers like Elio Castroneves, Cletus McFarland. I'll ask you about those guys in a minute. But first, for you, how do you view this opportunity this weekend?
Yeah, I think it's a huge opportunity for not only me, but like you said, the series as a whole. It's their first race on Big Fox. So that should be really big for the series itself. And we're super excited about the new TV that we have this year. All of our races are on FS1. Mm-hmm. So that's going to be huge for the series as a whole, too. And I think we have a pretty stout car count. It sounds like they're going to be sending a few cars home from the Daytona ARCA race. So goal number one of the weekend is, of course, making the race and then obviously performing well during the race. But always exciting to get back to work in Daytona, first week of the year, speed weeks. I've been watching the stuff at New Smyrna, and some of my TRD teammates have been running well down there. So, yeah, looking forward to getting back to work
Yeah, absolutely. And I know you were part of the off-season Daytona test a few weeks back. And that's what I wanted to ask you about. Like, you're going to be racing, with four-time Indy 500 champion Helio Castroneves, some serious star power in this race. I don't know if you got to test around some of those guys much, but how do you think they'll sort of stack up against the competition?
I think drivers like Helio just get it. It's like Kyle Larson when he goes and runs the Indy car. I mean, if you're a good race car driver, you can drive just about anything. And I think Helio will definitely take some getting used to, but he'll get the job done. He'll do a great job for that PRG group. And I think that testing with him was like really, really cool. So I got to run in a pack with him and Cletus McFarland, whose real name is Garrett Mitchell.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't know that for a long time. So who was this guy in the 30? Garrett Mitchell. I thought Cletus was driving. So, yeah, it was cool to get to run around those guys. They both did a great job, but it's totally different when we're running in 6-7 car packs at the test versus when you put 40 of us out there at once. So I think it's definitely going to take the training wheels off those first couple laps of the race. Hopefully those guys learn a lot, and maybe we'll make a good race out of it there at the end,
Yeah, absolutely. Tell me a little bit about your upcoming season, because you joined a new team. Before we started recording, I mentioned it's taken some getting used to seeing you in a TRD sweatshirt there, but you're with Nitro Motorsports now for the full ARCA schedule. What excites you most about that opportunity with this new team this season?
Yeah, there's a lot to be excited about. I think it's probably my best opportunity in a while, and obviously, it's no secret that I wasn't really happy with the way that last year went. I wasn't really satisfied with the results in the truck stuff, and evaluating all of my options during the off season, the rides filled up really, really quick. And so I felt like to go take a step back, as some people may view it, to the ARCA stuff was actually me taking a step forward, getting in the Toyota program, getting to use all the resources that they have as far as training, hand-eye coordination, all the good stuff they work with you on behind the scenes to make sure you're ready on race day is something that's been really, really big going into this season that I've been working on with them for the past couple months, But with Nick Tucker, my team owner, he has done a great job of getting this really well planned out, this whole ARCA deal. And so when we went and met with him, I felt like this was just a great opportunity, and everybody over there was ready to win races, and they just needed a driver who was hungry and ready to win races as well and prove himself. And that's kind of where I fit into the picture. And so kind of taking a step back to take a step forward in my career, fair enough to say that, I'm excited about getting to these first couple races and seeing how we plan out. Obviously it's a new team. So there's always little speed bumps that you have to get over when you're starting a new team in a new series. But these guys and the help of Venturini Motorsports, who is our alliance team, is really going to help us, I think, get over that hump quickly. And it showed at the test. I mean, we were really fast at the test. And my teammate for Daytona, Amber, was very fast at the test as well. So hopefully we can get down there and get the Toyotas out front and keep them there.
Yeah, it sounds like you'll have some good teammates, which will obviously work to your advantage at drafting tracks like Daytona. But you kind of say new group. I guess it's maybe hard to set goals preseason, but if you had to explain now, what are your broader goals for the 2025 season? Because I know you've run ARCA before, but it's been a few years. This is a very different situation. So what would you say you hope to get out of this experience this year?
Yeah, absolutely. I think there's a lot of little goals, just improving on my talent every week and getting better as a group, as an organization. Kind of last year, I went in thinking that we were going to be really, really good, and I got humbled a little bit. And so, just setting little goals every week is going to be a big thing. Obviously, we took this step back to win races, and there's no secret about that. And those guys are excited. My crew chief for Daytona will be Nick Tucker, but then after that, I have Shannon Rush for a handful of races who has proven that he can get it done with drivers like Jesse Love and Corey Heim. He had Gio Ruggiero and won a couple races with him. So definitely think that I have the right group to get the job done this year, and I'm really excited to see where we stack up. It has been a while, though, like you said, since I drove an ARCA car. So just getting back in the rhythm of things. I mean, all the NASCAR stuff is somewhat similar, but different in its own way. So I think that it'll take me a couple races to get back used to how the cars drive and how the air works in those cars and all that kind of good stuff. And then hopefully go from there and compete for wins. You know, obviously the ARCA series doesn't have as many full-time drivers competing for championship as the higher series. So being in that top 3 in points and in the conversation with guys like I think it'll be Butterbean, it'll be Lawless, Isabella's full-time. I don't know who all is full-time in the ARCA series, but there's a handful of us this year. So being in that conversation at the end of the year where we can compete for a championship is the ultimate goal. But like I said, just kind of tone it back a little bit, take it one step, one race at a time, and just try to improve every week is the biggest thing.
I like that. Having weekly goals hopefully will then lead to realizing those bigger accomplishments. That's awesome. Thad, I really appreciate you stopping by. Going to be fun to watch you in the safety clean Toyota this weekend at Daytona. I'll see you out there, man. Thanks for taking some time to chat with us, and good luck this season.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for having me on, man. And you won't be able to miss me this weekend. I'm in the bright yellow safety clean at Daytona, so you should be able to see me anywhere on the racetrack.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Thanks, man. Talk to you soon.
See ya.
Thank you all for watching this video. Leave a like if you enjoyed, subscribe for more NASCAR content, news, discussion, and so much more every single day. Big thank you to my generous Patreon supporters as well. Thanks again to Thad for stopping by. I will talk to you all again soon. Have a great rest of your Monday, folks.